Nate can tell us
I'm
a little
literally
bit about,
asking you, how about it?
Nate can tell us a little bit about John Martin.
You were talking the other day about the famous painting of George Brett, the three bats. That was done by John Martin. He did all of the original artwork for the Kansas City Chiefs, including the original. Remember the old Arrowhead logo that they had at.
Hold on, pause for a minute. I said, "Hey, Jake, so how about John Martin?" Jake's response, producer of the show. Oh, how about it?
How about it?
Yeah, that's great. What about it?
All right. Go ahead. Sorry, I said.
It was a kind of a Rick and Keel response from him, wasn't it?
What about it?
Yeah.
Choice to stay in Kansas City. What about it?
Right. Yeah.
How about him?
So he's the artist, huh?
Yeah, and he's going into the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame, and I'm hosting that induction, that Hall of Fame induction. There's a handful of guys we're gonna hopefully try to get on with your approval, Stephen. Dayton Moore's going into that Hall of Fame. Matt Beasler, Earl Watson, former point guard from UCLA and NBA fame.
That's more than a handful of guys right there. That's an armful.
Yeah, there's a big group. So, but John Martin, he's got some incredible stories. I mean, he designed the West Virginia logo of all, but he's got, paintings all over Kansas City. Of course, as I said, the iconic George Brett painting is one of them, but there's all kinds of stuff that we're going to talk to him about. So I'm excited. He's got some really interesting stories.
I used that when George was on the show on Monday. I posted that picture of that painting to promote his appearance, because that's always been one of my favorites, as he holds the 3 silver bats, the 3 silver sluggers, the 3 representing the 3 batting championships he won in 3 different decades. So I like it.
How about it?
Right. That's right. You heard some of the in the intro, some of the press conferences that took place yesterday here in St. Joe with members of the Chiefs. Yesterday, before practice, we had a chance to talk to Mark Donovan over at the football stadium, and he talked with some dignitaries from St. Joe and from the university, and then he talked about them hopefully, it looks like that's what the plan is going to be, have training camp here for 5 more years before they eventually, he left the door open, but it looks like it's going to be 5 years here, and then they'll be in Olathe for training camp, and still plenty of time to figure out what that's going to look like and how that's going to work, but that's what the plan is. And so I don't want it to come to an end, but I'm happy if I get 5 more years coming up here to cover training camp for Sports Radio 810 and to cover the Chiefs. Then we got into Q&A about the stadium, the new stadium, and some of the questions around that. We'll get into that. You heard me ask about natural grass, which I thought was interesting. Felt like I was talking to Jake at one point when he said, "Steven, if you're asking me to bet today," like I've heard that from Jake pretty much every day. "Steven, if you're asking me to bet today, the answer is yes." But looks like they want, the plan is for natural grass indoors at the new Arrowhead. So I thought that was interesting. Someone else asked about the retractable roof. That was shot down like Lebo said it would be. But interesting stuff there. We can go through that here in a little bit. And then also Andy Reid spoke. Not exactly wanting to talk about how he might change with Kenneth Walker on board. He did after he shut me down. He looked at me and gave me a nice wink, like, I'm not going to answer your question really, but here's a wink at you. I took one thing away from it. I took something away from it. I'll see if you guys take the same thing away from it. But talked to Andy Reid, talked to Nick Bolton, Kenneth Walker III, who is the softest speaking football player we've ever had in the interview tent in St. Joseph. And I'm glad that I heard that Jake played, because when we were live in the tent, we could not hear him whatsoever. And so I'm glad that the microphone picked it up, because our ears did not. And so he speaks softly, but carries a big stick. But my favorite person that I heard from yesterday, and I think that, boy, I don't know, maybe Jake hasn't done enough research yet, but as soon as he does, I feel like this guy's going to end up being Jake's favorite player. Alohi Gilman was really, really good in the interview tent. He's a really important player because he's coming in to be the lead safety on this team. And you heard him talking about taking the young defensive backs out to dinner once a week during OTAs and trying to build chemistry and trying to be a leader. Jason Anderson had texted me during the press conference and asked me to ask him about Kyle Hamilton, because Kyle Hamilton was on with Petro in Lake Tahoe at the American Century Golf Championship, and told the story about how Alohi Gilman is his biggest mentor in football. And there was a time at Notre Dame that Kyle Hamilton wanted to quit football, and Alohi Gilman convinced him not to. So then I asked Gilman about that. And so it seems like the Chiefs not only have a talented football player, but a guy that, and I think this is very important, because I think that may have been missing somewhat in the secondary last year after the Chiefs lost Justin Reed. They tried to replace him on the field, but I don't know if they did a great job of replacing him off the field. I think he fills a need not only as a safety in the defense, but as a leader in that secondary and one of the leaders of the defense. So I think you'll enjoy listening to him. And Jake, for the first time since I've been up here, he was the first player that conducted his media session barefoot with no socks and shoes. And so I think
getting that grounding
like
in.
that.
Yeah.
He wanted to ground himself immediately after he was done practicing.
Get
so
those
you're
positive ions off you.
So you're a big proponent of that. Does that make you like him?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's good for
You
you.
know.
Getting back in touch with where we all came from, the earth.
It seems like he's that, it seems like you guys would have some things to talk about. You know what I mean?
I
think he's down. I'm going to guess he's a cold tub guy. I'm going to guess that maybe you guys do some of the same things, maybe some red light therapy, grounding, all kinds of good stuff.
That certainly makes me more curious about the type of guy he is.
You know where he's from, don't you?
He's from Hawaii, I believe, right?
That's right. That's Hawaii. Played high school at Hawaii. In college, he was 1 year at Navy, and then 3 years at Notre Dame. So really, and I watched a couple of videos about him when the Chiefs signed him. Really interesting guy. And then yesterday, after talking to him, like, oh, okay, here, ladies and gentlemen, here is one of Steven's go-tos after every game. Because I lost some, man. You lose over the years. You start to lose. You lose your Justin Reed. You lose your Trent McDuffie. Leo was a go-to at all times. You start taking away the guys that will talk, no matter if it's a win or a loss or what kind of game it is. And you're trying to get some interviews done after a game at Arrowhead. Like, okay, who are we going to go to now? Alohi Gilman, ladies and gentlemen, step on up. I also like talking to L'Jarius Sneed, so I'm glad he's back too. So that's pretty much what happened yesterday. Also, I don't know if you guys saw this. I had a video of Patrick Mahomes missing a pass and then jumping up and down. And I said, that's pretty good. He looks animated there, so I just posted that. And I wrote an animated Patrick Mahomes at Chiefs camp, and that thing went crazy. This is, okay, it's over 1 million views now.
Wow.
On X. And the back and forth on this has been incredibly stupid. Let me tell you that. I mean, I got Bengals fans and Broncos fans. Look at him. He when he jumped up in the air, he didn't want to land on his bad knee. He doesn't trust it anymore. He's cooked. And other Chiefs fans, look at him, he's jumping up and down, doesn't care, he's ready to go. Week one, let's go. And so just on that small video that I posted, whatever you wanted to see, that's what you saw, and that was your big takeaway. I just thought, hey, he's jumping up and down. I mean, I did post it because, I don't know, he's jumping up and down. So I wonder what people are going to think about this. He's out there with a little bit of reckless abandon. It made me nervous. I was, hey, easy, Pat. Easy, sir. I mean, you look at the video. You tell me.
First thing I noticed is that he landed on his non-surgically repaired leg first every time.
Right.
And I know, again, not comparing my situation. I just remember when I went and played basketball the first time after doing it, it's on your mind. And everybody that's ever gone through an injury like that talks about that's one of the biggest things is getting the confidence back to where it's not on your mind. And he's just coming back. Like he's just starting to come back. I'm glad he didn't land on it with first. I don't think it's a big deal at all.
We don't know when Patrick Mahomes is coming back from injury. And we don't know. I mean,
Game one.
I know, but we don't know when he's back.
Right. Has Steven heard that yet?
I don't think Steven wants to hear that. I'm up here in my bubble. Leave me alone. Yeah.
Back.
Yeah, but when's he going to be
back?
Back. I don't know.
Maybe it'll be back.
Sorry.
Some of these comments are pretty funny, but you have to go through them, and the people that quote retweeted and quoted the video, and then some of the other people that posted on it kept me laughing for a while. But I knew people would get something out of that video. I just didn't think it would be that wide range of reaction. But you never know. That's why they don't, you're not able to video the entire practice. You got to get what you can get. You never know what's going to go viral or what people are going to find interesting. Like it's been the last couple of years, especially last year, every morning I just head over to the Hill and get a nice video of, they're showing the replay of Brock Lesnar and fighting the Chiefs back in 2004. They just showed that on ESPN. Great training camp memory. Anyway, I used to just last year get a video of Travis Kelce walking to practice. And, I mean, that thing would blow up. I'd get a bunch of hits from South America and it's everywhere and Swifties and everything else. So yesterday I took a video and I just labeled it, "Here is a video of Travis Kelce walking." So gotta be the smart ass. And the Mahomes jumping video blew it out of the water. So I don't know.
Hey man, we got something to dissect here. Look at the way he's landing when he jumps.
Oh, hey, look! I was trying to get something just different, something to talk about. But it was fun watching. There was one play where he just threaded the needle to Kelce with a bullet, and it was hard not to get titillated when you saw that. I mean, it's just even the crowd, they were like, ooh, the oohs and ahs and the applause. And so, I mean, well, why wouldn't you? And yesterday was season ticket holder day, along with a delicious pancake breakfast. At least I assume it was. But, you go out there and you've been upset for several months about Patrick Mahomes being hurt. And one of the first things you see is him deliver a bullet in a perfect pass right to Travis Kelce, who snags it. And like, okay, all right, we back. Let's go. So there, lots of stuff going on up at training camp today, and today is the first day that's open to the public.
Come have some pancakes.
And I'm not going to play weatherman, but I don't, it was a funky day weather-wise yesterday, and there was at one point where the chief staff came over and told us that they might have to move indoors. When it comes to lightning, they got to go. They got no choice. But the rain held off. It rained before practice, and then it held off and didn't rain until afterwards. But I do believe there's a chance of rain this morning, but I don't know. Don't take my word for it. Go ahead and look at your apps and make sure to do your research. But practice is open to the general public today for the first time, and it was jam packed yesterday when we got there, and after the press conference we went to, and we were going back to the media tent. The lines were long to get in, but today 9:15 practice, and linebackers will be the position group available afterwards. And I'll say congratulations to the Royals for shutting out the Minnesota Twins. How about that, huh?
Yeah.
That good?
Heck yeah.
Like
Nice
that?
win.
How about those Royals, huh?
How about this former Uber driver that's a pitcher now? Once again, shutting down his former team. You like him?
Yeah.
Randy Dobnak?
I love I mean,
Great beard.
Yeah.
Great beard.
Yes.
his numbers have been incredible. He's got 1.4 is 1.04 ERA now.
9 years ago, August 1st, 2017, I think they bailed him out of independent ball for like $500. The Twins.
I mean,
and all this time later, $500 signing bonus, signed him out of indie ball. And
wow.
Tuesday was the 1 year anniversary since they traded him to the Tigers in a deal that kickstarted their famous fire sale. And so, I mean, that's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, he's thrown 26 innings. He's got a 1.04 ERA. It just, hey, howdy. It's
and formerly as an Uber driver had a 4.99 rating.
Not bad.
So,
That's pretty damn good.
yeah.
Must be a good driver. Take care of that rider.
So he
People
pitched
feel
in Detroit
safe.
last Thursday, brought back memories pitching for the nearby Utica Unicorns of the Independent United Shore League. It was almost 9 years to the day, August 1st, 2017. The Twins signed him out of indie ball for $500 signing bonus. Tuesday marked the 1 year anniversary since the Twins traded him to the Tigers. The St. Paul Saints were playing Detroit's Class AAA affiliate in Toledo, so Dobnak just grabbed his stuff and walked to the other side of the ballpark. Back in the big leagues with the Royals, standing in the visitors' clubhouse for the first time since COVID's related 2020 summer preseason camp. Dobnak was back to face his former team. So that's a great story.
It's awesome. It's so cool. 31 years old. I mean, it's like the kind of stuff you make a movie out of, you know? That's great. Hey,
And the Royals need it.
yeah, good on the Royals for finding him, considering everything they've been through as a pitching staff this year.
And also, Michael Garcia was pulled off his rehab assignment because he has soreness in his hand that he can't get rid of. So now he's coming back to Kansas City to get reevaluated. So now I would tell you that don't expect him back anytime soon. You know what? Yes, I do feel like saying that. For my rotisserie league, just as a Royals fan, I love watching Michael Garcia. Like, what? The muscle strain in his hand. And they cannot figure it out. They cannot figure it out. And finally, before we break, Mark Feinsand wrote about the trade deadline last night. Here's what he wrote, and we'll leave it at that. The Royals are surefire sellers this week, but don't look for the Royals to trade away any of its controllable players. According to sources, the Royals are open to moving their expiring contracts, most notably reliever John Schreiber and outfielders Lane Thomas and Starling Marte, but players with control beyond 2026, namely pitchers Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, Daniel Lynch, and Alex Lang, will remain in Kansas City after the trade deadline is passed. I think you guys probably figured out what I might think about that. I think that's a mistake. But when did Alex Lang become untradeable? When did They really not interested in talking to anyone about him. Is that what we're really? Is that where we're at?
Mm.
I mean, I get Waka, Lugo, Lynch. So not taking any calls on Lang, huh? Odd.
Think anybody's calling about Lang?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter because they're not looking to talk. No, I don't think so, Jake. No, I don't. I do not believe that he needed to be a part of that story.
Right. That's that kind of. I guess that's the point.
A lot of teams out there like, damn it, come on.
Well, maybe they read this like, why is he untouchable? Maybe I should call him about this guy.
Yeah.
I don't think Mark.
He's not
Feinstein
available.
Hey, just so you know, don't even ask us
Yeah.
about Lang.
Don't
all right?
ask us.
Yeah. All right.
Is
Don't.
it-
No.
No.
Well, we weren't asking about him. Leave it alone. We're not trading Lang. Well, maybe we
Get
should.
Feinstein on line 4. Mark, add him to the list. We're not talking about him.
And then all of a sudden, the other GMs are like, What's going on with this
Why would
Lang
they
guy?
talk
What?
about him? Maybe we should be interested in him.
Now all of a sudden, I kind of want.
Hey,
Kick the tires on
Are
this
you
guy.
sure you're not going to talk about him? Well, I don't know.
Hey, they're going to do what they're going to do. I can't control it. All I can tell you is I'm going to be super frustrated at the trade deadline. I know that already. But I'm having a good time right now. I'm in St. Joe. I had a wonderful steak dinner at the Frederick Inn with my wife and my daughters and the McKnights, who own the Frederick Inn, who are awesome, great friends of ours. And it was wonderful. A wonderful night. So I'm not going to let reports from Mark Feinsand telling us all the pitchers the Royals don't want to trade. I'm not going to let that bother me.
I like
I saw
me.
Patrick Mahomes complete a pass to Travis Kelce yesterday at steak at Frederick Inn. That's an A+ day. All right, not gonna worry about Alex Lang being taken off the trade market. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Joe Valerio about some football. After this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Stephen St. John live in St. Joseph, Missouri. Stony Creek Hotel, my headquarters. They should be your headquarters if you're coming to St. Joe. Love it. Hot tub, pool, delicious hot breakfast. Hotel bar with Barely's Bar with a nice happy hour. All the amenities you need. Wonderful rooms at Stony Creek Hotel in St. Joseph, Missouri. Nate Bucati, Jake Gutierrez, and Deeves back in studio. We're now joined by former Chiefs offensive lineman Joe Valerio. Joe, good morning. How are you?
Steven, good morning. How are you? Hey, listen, what you were describing sounds like if you're an NFL camp participant in the 2020s. Like,
that's right.
I'm thinking back to like the angst that I would feel this time in July and the pit I would get in my stomach as I was heading off to 6 weeks of pure, unadulterated hell in River Falls, Wisconsin. I'm like, man, I think Steven just described what most Chiefs players are going through this week.
You know what? They're over there in the dorms on the college campus. But I do. You know what? When they get done, they come over to Stony Creek because I know a lot of Chiefs family members are over here. And when they get some time off, they come over and stay at Stony Creek. So this is their place too. You know what I mean?
Steven, I didn't see my wife Jennifer for 6 weeks. Family members. Oh man, I'm not being one of those. I wore a leather helmet, no face mask, walked to school uphill both ways, no shoes. I'm not trying to be that ex-player, but man, I do.
Brother,
it is a contrast to what training camp looks like today as it did back in the 90s and early 2000s.
We talked about it on Friday I was talking with Tim Grunhard. It's a different world than what River Falls was, man. You were not wrong. This is not
like,
the same
and back then, from a media perspective, you and Nate and Jake would have had a can and a string, 2 cans and a string, trying to connect you guys back in the studio. I think. So.
Yeah, there no 2-a-days today, Joe.
Yeah,
so
no,
don't worry about that.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah, but we had I had some funny stories about Coach Schottenheimer and some of the we went 13 days in a row of full pad 2-a-days my rookie year, and on that Saturday of the first week, a couple of the guys came up to me. Of course, they're going to pick the rookie to do this. Go up to Coach Schottenheimer. So I said, Coach Schottenheimer, I said, a couple of the Catholic guys were wondering, right? They put me up to it. So I said, a couple of Catholic guys were wondering if we're going to get to take off tomorrow morning and get to go to Mass, because we noticed there was a little Catholic church right there in River Falls at the end of Main Street. He said, oh, Joe, don't worry. I've got it all taken care of. And so I'm thinking, well, wait, maybe we'll have off. And then the itinerary gets posted for Sunday morning, and it didn't look any different than any other of those 2-a-day practices that we had all week. And so we have a morning practice on Sunday, meetings, morning practice. And then on our way to lunch, Coach Schottenheimer says, hey, Joe, just make sure you hang around after lunch. We got a priest coming in to do Mass. And he did a 5-minute Mass at the end of lunch so we could go back, take a nap, and get ready for the second practice. So, that was a little bit of a different world back then for sure.
Well, see, he took care of it. He did not lie. He took care of it. Hey, so let's. I want to talk about some of the stuff going on up here at camp. Andy Reid was in the interview tent yesterday, and so I will tell you it was loud, and we were trying to hurry through it because they said the bad weather was coming, and they didn't want all of us to get caught out there in the rain or whatever. And so Andy's up there, and I asked him about the addition of Kenneth Walker and how does that change the game plan, or how you put together the game plan when you have a running back like Kenneth Walker. What does he do for the offense, and how does he change what you want to do? And I thought that was a reasonable question because we're all speculating about that. Now that you have this new toy, and you have a running back who does things that the other running backs from last year simply could not do, well, we're going to see more of the screen game. Are we going to see, they want to see Patrick Holmes under center a little bit more? Are they going to run the football more? It's got to change you a little bit to have that weapon as opposed to what you had last year. And so I was just asking him, having Kenneth Walker, how does that change what you want to do or how you attack and how you put together the game plan? And he either he heard the question and didn't want to answer it that way, or just he answered it like I asked him about what have you seen from Kenneth Walker in the run game so far, and so that was fine. He answered the question, but then I followed it up with, how does that change the way you game plan? Because that's what people want to know. And he shut it down pretty quick with a funny ha-ha, because he's not interested, I don't think, in talking about that. But it also tells me, and then you guys can hear this, the way he answered me, I took away from it that he's heard the criticism and he's tired of hearing anyone suggest that he needs to run the ball more or do this or do that. So go ahead and play the sequence, Jake.
Yeah, I thought he looked good today. He's working through everything. Smart kid, very diligent, wants to know everything. So, and he's talented. And that's kind of a good combination. So it's just a matter of him feeling comfortable with everything. And you don't do a lot of run game in this type of camp. You don't do where you're in no pads and in OTAs. So it'll be good to get the pads on where he can work on that a little bit more. But in the past game, he's been working like crazy.
You change what you want to do based on his skill set.
I think we're probably going to run every down.
And then he gave me a nice wink and a smile, Joe. So
Yeah. That's so Andy. That's so Coach Reed, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, look. You could look at it a couple of ways, and I think you probably already have, right? Dissecting what he was saying. I mean, number one, he doesn't want to let any cats out of the bag, right? He doesn't. Andy's always been, I guess, relatively close to the best. Even when he was in Philly, he was always pretty close to the best about trying to give other people too much to go on, right? Other defensive coordinators about, what they should be preparing for. And, Coach Schottenheimer was like that too with us. He wasn't really big on giving people too much to think about, right? Let's come a little bit of element of surprise, right? I think this is a chance for Andy Reid and the offensive staff to come out with some surprises, right? And to change things up and get back to maybe a more balanced attack, right, where they're relying more on the run to get themselves into positions where it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, and not always 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. So or even 3rd and 10 when you have 2 incompletions, right? So I think he's probably trying to hold things close to the vest, and also he's trying to just kind of wait to see how things play out, right? And he doesn't want to give too much away, right, at this point. So that's the way that I would take it. Obviously, he's the kind of guy it's hard to take offense to when Andy says something, right? Because he's got a great sense of humor.
Nate Bukaty.
Yeah, I think it is fascinating, and that's probably part of the reason. I mean, like you said, Stephen, I'm sure there's a little bit of him, having some fatigue about, are you going to run the ball more? Are you going to run the ball more? Like Joe's point, it's like picturing back when Marty was there. You going to throw it more now? Or, he believes in running the ball. He always has. And Andy Reid has, I can't imagine that there's ever been an Andy Reid offense that ran more than it threw in the entire history of his time in the NFL. And so all of a sudden, when you add a running back like this, and you think about like the shift, like I think we all want to know, like, how much is it going to change? Is he really going to run the ball more than he has in for most of his career? And if so, how's it going to look? And so I love the question, and I actually think the answer tells you a lot more than you think, because I think he doesn't want to talk about it. so he's like, you guys are going to have to wait and find out. And I love that.
Right, Nate. And look, football, I mean, I'm going to pull out an old cliche that everybody's heard 1,000 times. Football is a game of inches, right? And if Kenneth Walker, if they can just adjust this offense one notch, and Kenneth Walker can get them into 3rd and 3 situations with a couple of 3-yard average runs on 1st and 2nd down, do you realize, like, I think people do, I think they do know that it changes your playbook 1,000% dramatically, right? Where when you find yourself in 3rd and 6, you become very, very predictable, right? When you don't have a way to get yourself into those 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4 even situations, like, my gosh, if you get yourself in those situations, you open your playbook up to 1,000 pages if you can do that. And I think that's probably what he's going to be looking for. Look, Ken Walker does have breakaway stuff, right? He can get out. We all saw that last year with Seattle. He can get them situations where they're getting big chunks of yardage and they're chunking the ball down the field with some solid runs and a new, maybe a creative the creative twist that Andy Reid always brings to his offense. But at the same time, if Andy can somehow work this offense to where Kenneth Walker's getting them into those third and very short situations, man, Patrick Mahomes is deadly in those situations. It makes Travis more effective, right? It makes your tight end game more effective, where you can post him up and put him over the middle and either act as a screen for some crossing patterns, and then they can start stretching the field, more horizontally, and they don't have to always be going vertical. I mean, it's a game of inches, and that's all they need. They just need that extra yard or two on third down, or even second down for that matter. If they can get find themselves in second and 5, right? That's the best down in football right there. You can do anything. You can run it again. You can pass. Like, I just think that's what he's looking for out of the run game. If I were to predict it now, put that into a black box we could open up in the middle of the season, I think Coach Reid's looking for the opportunity to end up in more shorter yardage situations, I should say. And I think that's what he's looking for out of Kenneth Walker and what the run game, how the run game can be different for them.
And we got to remind ourselves, it's not just Walker. They remade the whole running back room with bringing DeMarcado in, who has a big play capability, drafting the kid out of Nebraska who looks like he could be an absolute stud. And so they have a completely different running back room that has a better skill set and a more I think a much greater ability to have explosive plays and also make a difference in the pass game as opposed to what they had last year. So it's not just going to be when Walker's on the field. It's going to be, I think, a complete overhaul of that run game.
Difference it does for the offensive line, right? We talked about that last week. Like, it just changes the complexity of how that offensive line will have to work together. And, as Brunny will tell you, it's so much easier going forward than going backwards as a lineman. And, it's something else, man. When these guys, as athletic as these guys are getting for the pass rushing game, like, holy cow, like, I couldn't imagine. Like, I don't know how these guys do it today with defensive tackles who are 6'5", 290 pounds, 350 pounds. Some of these, interior defensive tackles, running 4'6", 4'7", 40s, athletic as all get out, dunking basketballs. Like, not that we didn't have athletic interior linemen back in the day, but man, it's changed the complexity of the game. And then it's so much easier to try to run block those guys and tire them out with double teams and, zone blocking than it is to try to let them pin their ears back and keep rushing you as a pass protector. Like, man, what a difference it will make for the offensive line. And I think it'll keep them healthier, and it'll allow them to work a lot better together. And then if you can keep defensive lines guessing, there's a question, for Bill Moss. I mean, obviously he could do it all. He was a great run stopper, great pass rusher, but man, I'm sure he would tell you that the guessing game is not where a defensive lineman wants to be. They want to know third and long, they're probably going to pass. I'm going to pin my ears back and go. Second and 2, third and 2, they're probably running the ball. I'm going to be. It's so much easier for them when they know what's happening too. So I just think circling back to the beginning of the conversation on that, I just think it helps the entire team if they can get something going with the running game and just gain that one extra yard per carry. That's all they need. And if they can get chunk yardage too, I mean, that's huge too. But I think the big win comes in getting one extra yard per carry and gives them a really good chance to be successful.
Joe, is always good talking to you. Tell people again how they can listen to the podcast.
Sure. Podcast with my podcast partner, Jeff Fedotin, who writes for Forbes Magazine on Believe in Chiefs, BLEAV. You can follow along at Joe Valerio 73. Nate, great to catch up with you too, my friend. And Stephen, enjoy the time up in St. Joe.
I'll do it. That's former Chiefs offensive lineman Joe Valerio. Back after this on WHB. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. A couple of things from camp yesterday. I will say, number one, one day, prepare for the hype around Cyrus Allen to continue to increase, and I'm not going to do much to stop it. Because people that I've talked to and then watching him yesterday, he had a really good day at camp, but more importantly, just people I've talked to that I trust. There's good reason to be excited about him. I'm still searching for reasons to get excited about Jalen Royals. He didn't have a great day yesterday, but the Chiefs may have, and to what level, we don't know. But I think you could feel pretty good and excited about Cyrus Allen being taken in the 5th round. He's already showing some reasons why he could be a nice addition to this offense right away. And Andy Reid said yesterday, which is very important, it was no throwaway comment. He said, Cyrus had a good day. I think Pat's got some trust there. We got a long way to go, but we've got to keep it growing. And yes, it seems like Mahomes is forming a nice connection with rookie Cyrus Allen. Something else that's important is the secondary. We talked about that. We're going to hear from Alohi Gilman here in just a second. But as the Chiefs were lining up yesterday with the ones, L'Jarius Sneed, Noel Williams, they were lined up on the outside. Chris Roland Wallace was inside at the nickel. And then Alohi Gilman and Shamari Connor at safety. That's very nice. That's where he needs to be. And this was planned. I know some people freaked out during practice, but L'Jarius Sneed left the field, but that was planned as he's ramping up back to 100%. And then Delane stepped in his place with the first group. And so that's the way it's shaping up right now. And Delane, of course, has that yellow jersey because of the shoulder issue. All right, Alohi Gilman, it's an important player. He's coming in to be the lead safety. And again, he's shown some leadership traits that I think this team lacked last year, especially in the secondary, because they did not replace what Justin Reed brought to this team on and off the field. Here's a couple of clips we're going to play. Here is Soren Petro with stud safety Kyle Hamilton at the American Century Championship out in Lake Tahoe when they were talking about who was Hamilton's biggest mentor in football.
Biggest mentor in football? I mean, there's a plethora of people that have helped me along the way. Alohi Gilman, who is with y'all now.
Yes, he is.
Alohi Gilman, my freshman year at Notre Dame, talked me off the ledge multiple times.
Really?
As a freshman, coming to camp and part of America that I've never really been in, growing up in Atlanta, going up to South Bend, Indiana, and just kind of a brutal story. I was playing well in camp. I had 3 picks day 1 of camp, and I was just like, this is brutal. I hooped in high school. I was like, damn, I should have hooped. It seems a lot more fun. But Alohi just was talking to me about the grind, and everybody's been through it, and I put everything into perspective. And then he was on our team last year, so it was just a full circle moment, and had the same mentality. So I'm sure he's going to do the same thing in KC for y'all.
So then I asked Alohi Gilman. I basically just told him, hey, Kyle Hamilton said that you were one of his big mentors, and he kind of talked you out of walking away from football when you were at Notre Dame. Can you elaborate on that? And here's Gilman on Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, I was a senior. He was a young, talented freshman coming in, kind of just growing in his space. And, it got hard. Football is a tough business. It's a tough sport. So me being as a friend and a teammate, wanted to make sure, a guy like that with that much potential, you got to believe in yourself. You got to let things go, and you just got to play. And as you can see, he's one of the top guys. So that's my guy, and hopefully I can continue to be that guy for anyone else in the building. And I'm grateful to just be in this position.
I'm telling you, man, they brought in a guy that they needed on and off the field last year. They underestimated, and maybe they did. They just couldn't bring Justin Reed back, but Justin Reed meant more to this team than I think a lot of people thought.
I mean, Justin Reed was so good on and off the field, but that's a great story. That's
Jake, you're gonna love this cat.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Already do.
That's the first thing I thought, man. Just the way he handled himself and some of the things he was talking about, and the brotherhood and being there for the younger players, and he's standing there barefoot, and he's thinking about getting that cold tub. And so this is Jake's kind of guy right here. They got things to talk about.
I can get my support fully behind that guy.
Your love of Hawaii and
Yep,
him being
exactly.
from Hawaii, so there it is.
It's my new guy.
Next time I talk to him, ask him about bone broth. See what he says.
Tell him I got a hookup.
What if you find out he makes his own bone broth? Then you're going to get a jersey, aren't you?
Exchange some recipes.
Wow. Well, you never know. We'll take a break. Back after this with Buster Olney on WHB.
New Day with SSJ is brought to you by Walker Medical Linen Service. Locally owned, HLAC certified, and trusted by Kansas City's top hospitals and clinics. Walker Medical Linen Service. Clean you depend on. Online at walkermls.com.
Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Good Thursday morning to you, July 30th.